everyone. Welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions. We are here tonight, continuing a D&D 5th edition campaign that is ongoing, titled Evermore le Masquerade. This takes place in a homebrew world of mine known as Rosfine, in particular a kingdom known as Gerdes, that is heavily based on Spain, France, Venice, kind of during the Baroque period. This is going to be session 38, and will be titled Liberté. So we will be picking up where we left off last time. But before we start, I want to go ahead and give the same warning that I give on the beginning of all of my games, and that is, if foul language and mature subject matter are a problem for you, then this is not a place for you to spend time. Particularly this game. While we will never, ever, ever, ever feature explicit sex, we will toe the line about as close as we can here. It is a big part of the Gerdessi culture, and yeah, that's kind of what goes on in this story. So, if that kind of smut bothers you, then exit stage left. If not, then welcome. I'm going to pass things over to my players so that they can introduce themselves, and then I think we're going to get started. So we're going to start with Kenya.
Hi, it's me. I'm Kenya. I'm the problem tonight. I was not prepared to talk first. I don't know why not, because it usually is me, but tonight I was not. So, I am playing Vera. She is our resident changeling bard slash warlock. She's been doing a little delving into some tomfoolery with a chained demon that's inside a book that we have. It's a thing. Um, so that's where my character is at. Where am I at, you ask? Well, this is pretty much the only place you could find me, except, and I'm gonna steal Matt's plug because I want to say what I'm doing on that weekend too. But Jeremy's 10th anniversary of running this channel is coming up in a couple weeks, and it will be on Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, Saturday is when I'm playing. Saturday, October 11th is when I'm playing. It's going to be around 5 p.m. It's going to be run by Mr. Jake of Method, and I'm going to be playing in something called Fortune's Folly. I don't know anything about it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It will be using an expedition engine that Jeremy has created, so I'm excited to do that. And I totally stole Matt's thunder, and that's because I went first, and I'm sorry, Matt. To you.
You needn't apologize. There are no apologies necessary here. Hello, everyone. I'm Matt. I have a channel called A Fistful of Dice. And as for where you can find me, nowhere. I am elusive now. I've gone into a deep exile. But I am going to be playing, I'm going to be running a game in Jeremy's Caldera setting, his sort of Wild West fantasy setting. And I'm running a game of that on, I believe, Saturday, October 11th. So that's going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to that. It is my first game that I'm running in, I think, like 2-ish years. And the first game I'm streaming running in like 3 years. So I'm not nervous at all, but it's going to be fun. Tonight, I'm going to be playing Loxley LaCroix. And I was not here last session, so I'm very happy to be here and I'm excited for what's to come. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on over to M.
Hi everyone, I'm Em. I also am just lurking around on, mostly you can find me on MTD every Thursday, every other Tuesday. But tonight I will be playing Sylvie Levine, and I'm excited to jump back into it. Glad we could get most of the gang together, and I'm excited to jump into it, and I will pass it to Austin.
Not a lot to add, but Austin. I'll be playing Guillaume. I will also be over on Jeremy's channel, the only place on the internet you can find me. Friday, October 10th, for a game Jeremy is running entitled The Loft Light, that I am incredibly excited for. It's not going to be horrible and disturbing and traumatizing at all because Jeremy is the nicest guy, right? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, okay. Um, anyway, I am also not really findable online. I actually incidentally ended up having to Google myself today and I found out nothing, nothing. There's fucking nothing. Um, Found information on where my dead grandma used to live, but that's about it. So anyway, really excited to get into this game tonight. I We feel like we got a very successful last session, having freed my character's father from an anti-magic prison, and hopefully the consequences of that will rain down worse on our enemies than they will on us because we just turned the anti-magic off entirely, and we'll see what a prison full of insane mages does to a city that is already going through shit. But with that, I will pass it up to Jeremy.
Yeah. Everything's copacetic, smooth.
I heard they were all framed.
Maybe. Um, yeah. I'm very excited to be getting back to this. Last session was an absolute blast. Went way smoother than I thought it was going to. And yeah. I'm sure there will be no ramifications whatsoever. Last but not least, hopefully Karen will be joining here after a little while. So yeah, we'll see you when you get here, Karen. But I think we're gonna go ahead and get started now. For some reason, my Stream Deck is not working with OBS, so I have to do this the hard way. The city of Aladalgo spreads before you like a necklace of pearls, gleaming in the moonlight. Behind you, Chateau d'Ivoire lies as a silhouette against the sky. You have a ship full of passengers and are now headed back to the city. I believe before you reach Aladalgo, that there were some questions and or some conversations that were needing to happen with the passengers aboard your or rather Lox's fishing ship. From the Chateau d'Ivoire, you rescued Guillaume's father, Melisante, I want to say his name is?
Belante, I believe.
Melante. There you go. Melante. You also rescued a number of individuals belonging to a group known as L'Estudia. Estudia. Who were basically kind of like the Musketeers. They were the King's Guard, who up until a few years ago served as bodyguard, mercenary, if you will, for the king. But after the king was mysteriously murdered, they were disbarred. The prevailing rumor is that it was their lack of vigilance, at the very least, if not potentially outright corruption, that caused the king's assassination. And they were, as I said, kind of dissolved, disbanded. You rescued 4 of them, including their captain, an older gentleman who was in the same cell, or is in the cell beside Guillaume's dad. And then, last but not least, you also rescued an older gentleman who seems to consider himself quite the adventurer. Once the danger was all over, naturally, he led the charge to exit the prison. Seems a little, maybe not quite right in the head, now that you've spent a little bit of time with him. So, that's the rogues gallery, if you will. What's the general mood on this boat as you sail past those striped pylons that kind of form the perimeter around Chateau d'Ivray, and incidentally, out of ballista and catapult range?
I think Vera is I think she'd be sitting kind of over by the King's Guard and kind of chatting them up, essentially, like she does, being the bard that she is, and kind of trying to gently circle around what's been going on with the city, maybe attempting to get their what do you remember last about the political stance of the city and stuff, and kind of, well, I mean, how long you've been in there for years, you said, right? What, why were you put in there? What happened? What was the standing and the reasoning for it?
Well, the reason that was given, at least, was that we were guilty of treason, of failing in our duty to protect the king. But he kind of like looks around as if he doesn't really want to say. We think
Sure.
that there were others who framed us.
She kind of glances in Guillaume's direction. It seems to be going around.
Was it the vampire running the city for you guys too?
Well, there's
I'm
that.
pretty sure that's who framed me.
Vampire?
I'm Guillaume, by the way. I'm also framed. Not captured, obviously. Not saying that you did anything wrong to get captured. I've just been lucky.
Uh-huh. I'm sorry, did you say vampire?
Oh, were you
Vera
guys
just looks at Guillaume like expectantly. No, you opened this can. Have at it.
not aware of that? The Padre?
The Padre Primero in
Yeah.
Hidalgo.
Yeah, that's the one.
He's a vampire.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you guys knew this. I thought being so high up and being framed for murder you obviously had nothing to do with. I assumed. I'm sorry.
I've been locked in a cage for some time, I am afraid. But
No worries. It's not really common knowledge. We found out the hard way. So
it would make a lot of sense, because we have long suspected that the Justicaros were behind our framing.
Lox would speak up at this point, and he seems a little nervous, and it's clear right away that he really admires these guys, and maybe even like kind of revered them as a younger person. And so he just pipes in. Well, the Justicaros did a lot to seize the power that they have. Uh, I'm Lox, by the way. Uh, Big fan.
He kind of reaches up as if he would like tip the front of his hat, and then realizes he has none. He's literally dressed in rags that he was wearing in prison. Well, it is wonderful to meet you, Lux, as well as you, Guillaume. You said.
Yes, yes. And Guillaume is gonna start like rummaging around in the boat to try to like get some like cheese and bread. He's just assuming these guys are probably hungry. And he'll just start like putting out food and like non Olavida wine, and maybe even water if they're so inclined. But who would be?
They will absolutely eat and drink. Um, he shakes his head. I never would have thought. I suppose it makes a kind of sense. That is where we are headed? Alidalco? I assume it is the closest city.
Yes, that's where we're going to head, but we're not really. She kind of looks for the right words from the rest of the group. Well, we're not.
Vampires?
Well, we're not vampires. No, no.
That is
We're
good.
not really at liberty to walk the streets openly, so we'll be
Yeah,
doing a little bit of sneaking around.
we're sort of kill on sight status at this point, I would
I
imagine.
I was gonna say personas non gratis, but like I mean, yeah, kill on sight is probably a much more accurate way to say those words.
Well, seeing
So you're in
as
good company.
we were literally just sprung out of the Chateau d'Ivray, I imagine the company is much the same.
Oh, we are an absolute just hoot and a half to be around. So yeah, you're gonna have a great time with us. Just might not be the safest time.
Do you have a place for us to hide?
I imagine the Saint of Rats would take you in.
The Saint of Rats is still in business, eh?
Oh, he's doing wonderfully. Business is good for him.
We always let him operate without giving him too much trouble, because he seemed as if he did more good than bad.
He does very good.
Yeah, Guillaume just shoots Vera a little like knowing look. Like, yes, very, very good.
So we've been staying, and this is Kenya forgetting, where have we been staying, guys? Because we're not at the Castillo. Because we got to deal with
We were
my dead
staying
lady.
at a safe house of those spies.
That's
Yep.
where we were staying at. So okay.
Yeah, Sylvie had contacted someone from her past, and you met up with a Vicarian spy master who gave you a safe house in the city that you could hide out. It's not a lot, but it's a place that you have been assured is safe.
Typically we would stay at the Castillo, but I have other issues to deal with before we can head back there. So we're staying at a safe location that well, it's irrelevant who has provided it. It's we're just staying somewhere safe.
I see.
Not with the Saint of Rats.
I am eternally grateful for my salvation. Thank you, all of you. I assume, because you are hiding out in Aladalgo and are more than capable of stirring up trouble. He kind of like turns an eye back towards the chateau. That you plan on doing something about this vampire?
Well, we have been. Uh, we've been in it for a few weeks now, and we've definitely made some noise. Things have progressed quickly since we got involved.
He nods. Has anyone informed the king of what is happening?
I'm going to ask something out of character here, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
If they failed at protecting the king, like what happened to the, was it a big hullabaloo thing, or is this just more of a, like, I'm just trying to, like, what's the status of the king? Is he alive and well? Has
So
he not been around? Is he a vampire?
the king that he would have been protecting as a member of La Estudia was assassinated. And it was a very, very big deal. His 16-year-old son currently rules the country. He is the current king, and is very much known for not taking things too seriously and enjoying his position as the king, the way you might expect a 16-year-old boy to do. So he's not taking his position very seriously at all. You don't know if he's referring to the father or the son.
The she kind of looks around at the group and just the the king that you were protecting. I don't know how much you know, but he was assassinated a few years back.
Well, yes. Yes. Unfortunately.
His son is king now.
Ah.
Um,
And how is that going?
Have you ever lived somewhere without a king? It's going kind of like that.
and from what I've heard through my specific lines, I'm just glad he's never chosen to visit the Castillo, because I would have turning away the king bad, allowing the young boy in bad. So I don't have to make that decision.
I suppose he would be about 15 now?
16, yes.
16. Time passes strangely whenever you are not allowed to see the sun.
Did you know him as a young boy if you were assigned to his father's protection?
I met the lad a few times. Yes.
Did he seem all there? I mean, I get it. He's a teenager. We all had our I'm not going to take any of my responsibilities and just get drunk all the time phase when we were teenagers, I'm sure. But it seems to be lasting quite a while, and I think having all that wealth and power at your disposal that young is a recipe for. I guess did he seem the kind of person that would ever get his shit together?
From what I remember, his father was fairly rebellious in his youth. Maybe having responsibility thrust upon him will eventually prove itself out. If he is 16 and he has all of a sudden become powerful and even more famous than he was before, He was a spoiled child, so it is not hard to imagine that he would be enjoying himself.
I guess the short answer to your question is no, we haven't talked to the king yet.
Ah,
Um, didn't necessarily seem worth it, all things considered. And it seemed like it might just put him in more danger to know about it.
maybe.
Also, if he's somehow wrapped into it, letting him know that we know and are avidly working against it might not be in our best interest either. Because while he is a boy with the power of armies behind him, and we're having a difficult enough time just staying alive on the back streets of the city.
Hmm. Well, very well. I suppose what you have been doing is working to some extent, at least. He kind of like indicates the rowboat or the sailing boat full of, uh, prisoners that you have with you. Well, again, I cannot overstate how grateful I am that you have decided to rescue me, along with who you came for. He indicates Guillaume's father. Elante seems to be a good man. Seems the prison had more good men than not locked away.
Yeah, Guillaume will kind of regard his father at that and just kind of quietly say, I'm glad we could get you out.
That he will
So,
go back to devouring his food. Go ahead, sorry.
oh no, I think she's gonna look over at Guillaume's dad and so sorry, my cat is deciding to get off here. Go. She's gonna look over at Guillaume's father and so tell us about Guillaume.
About Guillaume.
I That doesn't seem necessary. They know me, you guys know me.
What do you want to know about him?
Oh, what he was like when he was a small boy. Um,
Ah,
what kind of interesting little flights of fancy has he had or trouble has he gotten himself into? You know, the usual. Anything that we can hold over him with a
I'm not sure
slightly
that
mocking, slightly
this.
loving
I'm not sure that this
taunt.
boat ride is long enough.
You can skip all the big ones. I've probably bragged about them myself.
He was
Did,
a fastidious child, curious, always getting himself into trouble. But smart, capable when he wanted to be. Funny. He could always get a laugh out of everyone. He enjoyed being the center of attention whenever we had people, company. In fact, from what I remember, that's the first time that I ever saw him use magic, was trying to entertain a room.
It was nothing really. It was just a small illusion. There was we had a cat at the time, and I was making a little mouse that would sort of appear just at the corner of his vision, make him turn, and it was fun until he caught him, and then didn't know what to do because it was illusory, and then that cat went absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was. There were more than one of them
so
that Guillaume liked to torture.
Torture's such a
driving
strong word.
driving those closest to you insane slowly but surely simply by dealing with your aunt. Yeah, that sounds like Guillaume. Absolutely. Did you know that we recently taught him the definition of a new word?
I am fearful to ask.
Stable. We taught him what a stable was.
Stable. Do you mean a horse house?
I honestly didn't think that it. I am at a loss for words right now. Um,
That was like just the best reveal, revealing that that's where it comes from. Incredible,
it was
incredible.
beautiful. It was beautiful. Uh,
It
she just
felt
kind of,
right.
yeah, yeah, a horse house. Yeah, it's. But you should be proud of him. He freed a recently widowed woman from a horrible husband's evil grasp, and was he's turned into quite the hero.
I won a duel. Yeah, it was neat. I mean I've won them before, but they've always sort of been, uh, to the pain sort of things. And this was like, no, you're going to kill each other.
You're
So there
dueling
was a
now.
well, not I'm not making a habit of it. It was sort of a one-off situation. If I'm being honest, I thought I had an unimpeachable advantage. Um, Out of character, I cannot remember if we've like we have talked to him since I became a were rat, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I told him about
I
it.
I don't remember, to be
I don't
honest.
think you've told him that you're a were-rat. I don't recall that.
Yeah. Okay, so, like yeah, oh boy. A couple things have happened since our last really heart to heart. I I sort of have a slight affliction. It's nothing bad.
Are you
But
okay?
yes, actually, in some ways, I'm better than I was before. Here, hold on, and he'll just like grab one of the like daggers that was handed to these guys, and he'll just like stab himself through the hand and like rip it out immediately, and just like a non-magic, non-silver dagger, and then just kind of show him the palm as it like knits itself together.
What? Um, I don't know what to say. Did you find some kind of artifact?
Uh, no, no, not so much as I got bit by a magic rat. It sounds worse than it is. I was only dead for like 30 seconds.
You you have developed lycanthropy.
Of a sort, yes. It's actually great though. Really no downsides. I'm feeling good about it. I've gotten over the whole, being a rat crawling through garbage on the streets part. I'm able to kind of wipe that off once I transfer back. But it's a whole thing. It's rather pleasant. I can bite you if you'd like. It's great.
No, I'm good. Thank you very
Okay.
much for the offer, but I'm intrigued. Uh, I've always found lycanthropy to be fascinating. I may have to ask you some questions later, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. All for science. It took a while to kind of control the transformation, but I think I've got it down to an art now. It's pretty quick. And if I do say so myself, pretty impressive.
He immediately like launches into like a series of like very studious questions, like an academic mind, trying to pick apart, what it is about, being a were rat, what it's like. And he will just absolutely inundate you. Whoops. Um, with question after question after question. What did I do?
I think I think at some point I'm disappeared. I think at some point Vera will, seeing that this is going to go on for an extremely long amount of time, will kind of, I'm Sorry to interrupt. I know father, son, you're excited. You're both obviously highly intellectual, studious people, and this is a wonderful science chat. And who knows, Guillaume, maybe someday we can get your fiance involved in this. But until that time,
Fiance.
I have to ask, sir, do you have access to, are there people that you trust? People with power in positions of power? People you think wouldn't be the servant of a vampire lord and that we could lean on for assistance?
Sadly, there are few that I would name as people that I could not see that being the case. There are so many now of the consigliere of Aledargo who are, well, wealth, power, fame tends to corrupt. And those who are interested in such things often are the ones who find themselves in these positions. So, my title, as it may be, affords me certain relationships, but there are not very many of them that I would trust as deeply as I think you are looking for. The Condessa Caterina would be one, but I fear that she is no longer with us. She was executed just shortly before my arrest.
Any chance she has a strong family history of power and being a good person passed down through the female line of her? I'm reaching here. I'm stressed out. It's not going well.
Yeah, she was quite old. I'm not exactly sure. I never really saw her face. I always thought maybe she was an elf of some kind. She was very private, and I respected that. But to my understanding, she did not have any offspring. This is the
Oh,
Condessa that he's talking
that's,
about.
I was literally just looking it up and realized what who you
Yeah.
were talking about. That's my bad. Uh she was executed before your arrest.
Yes.
She looks at the rest of the group. Well, good news. She survived.
Well,
She did.
maybe. We don't
Well,
know for
she did
sure.
survive that one.
True. Unless her phylactery had already been destroyed.
No, this is before they were
Phylactery.
arrested, and we've seen her since then, so she's fine. She survived that assassination. It's the one she's missing now that's the problem.
I am sorry. Phylactery?
Oh, were we not supposed to tell people about her whole lich thing?
Well,
She's
I
Friendly.
mean,
She's
a
friendly. She's
lich.
friendly. She's good.
And you have spoken with her.
Yeah, yeah. She gave me this beautiful cloak. We'll kind of show it off a little bit.
we've had dinner with her, stayed at her place. Uh,
She defended me when my ex-girlfriend and all of her goons showed up.
uh-huh,
That was nice of
uh-huh.
her.
But apparently her phylactery has been stolen and she's on our to-do list. We're gonna hopefully find it and find her and then save her.
I see. Things are clearly not as obvious as I thought they were. Very well. I cannot exactly return home, so I may have to find somewhere outside of the city to stay.
Do you think that we could send him to our new friend's house?
That's
The husband,
I was thinking either that or the Highwayman.
I
I think that's the same, right?
no.
No,
With
it was the
Oh,
guy I
Kenya
killed
was
in the
talking about
duel.
the duel. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. The one-armed elf lady.
Because we saved the wife.
Uh-huh.
Where
And sent her
did
home.
we sent her home? That's
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Yes, we did.
Because she's got to go take over her household.
She does owe us one. And maybe it would be good not to concentrate all of our allies in one
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. And not only that, but the highwaymen also have their own set of issues in that general area that are constantly trying to infiltrate. So I'm sure if I could send her a message and let her know that he's on the way, give her a password that he could give her.
Are you asking me?
No, no, no.
Oh.
I'm telling the group. I'm offering this as an option to the group.
Yes, I think that would be wise. It seems like a good place for you to go. The oh, is her name Apazuelo?
No.
Yes.
Or yes, that one was Apazuelo,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
Yes,
his name.
the husband, Mercutio.
Yep, there you go. Mercutio de la Apozuelo.
Yeah.
And she was Escanada?
Escanada
Escanada.
de la Pazuelo.
Apozuelo. There you go.
If
I
you
have.
arrive at
Well,
her household, let her know that you're the father of one of the castle raiders. I think she'll figure that out from that.
Mm-hmm.
see?
That you
Uh,
are seeking refuge and we'll collect you later.
very well. Once we land in the city, I will try to find passage that will take me there. I will. Is there a way I can contact you? He turns to Guillaume. If I need to write to you, we'll use a pseudonym.
Yes. Oh, I could have sworn I wrote down a pseudonym at some point. Uh, okay, you can write for me general delivery for Enrico Palazzo.
Rico Palazzo. Very well. Then, best of luck to you. I will see how many friends I truly still have in Aladalco, and if I am able to garner any support for our stand against Lugarico, I will let you know.
Also, if you happen to hear me talking inside your mind, it's just something I can do. Don't be too concerned. It's just a sending spell.
Yes, very
I'm sure
useful.
you're familiar with them, but I just wanted to warn you. Just be ever so careful when you're talking to anyone in the city. The corruption has gone so deeply rooted into people we would never expect it to reach.
The world of Aladalgan politics has always been a treacherous one, but seems even more deadly than I thought. I will Proceed in a very guarded fashion. Guillaume, be safe in whatever it is that you're doing. Sometimes you can be a bit rash.
No, I got a cream for that.
No. Be cautious, my son.
I will. Well, as best I can. I mean, you do understand that we're like potentially trying to kill the Padre. That's good. That's going to be a dangerous undertaking, but I'm going to do it as cautiously as I can.
Just
But
do it
you
the same
be
way
safe
that
as well.
you've always done things. Be smart about it. Study it. Make a plan.
I will.
That seems to satisfy him enough for the moment. He just kind of like smiles at you and like ruffles your hair.
I think unless anybody has anything else they want to say to the knights or anything, Vera will spend the rest of the boat trip back trying to cheer everyone uh, by telling them the tale of Guillaume's duel. And she weaves this story that is just so unbelievably detailed, and it makes Guillaume out to be like the most amazing superhero that has ever been known to walk the earth. Like it is just this epic tale. She takes this kind of rather mundane duel and turns it into this just crazy story about his success at what he's done in this combat and stuff. And she in particular, she kind of just watches his father as she's telling the story because she just wants to see his reaction, and at some point probably notices the fatherly pride that's kind of sitting there and just smiles at it and tells this tale.
I assume no one is listening with more rapt attention than Guillaume, who's like getting into it and being like surprised at the twists and turns of the story. And like it's just a very like, and then what happened kind of like look on his face.
Fantastic. Okay. So, what is the plan? You're heading back into El Hidalgo. At some point, you'll have to dock this larger vessel kind of on the outskirts of the collection of islands that forms the city, and travel the rest of the way on gondola or foot. But once you do reach that point where you are back on, the city streets or the city canals proper, where are you headed?
I think we should split up from the Estadia.
Oh, I was going to
Um,
say bring them with us because we have a safe house. I mean,
oh, I thought we
but
were sending
maybe
them to
not. I
the
don't
to
know.
the to the Saint. I thought it might just be more
Okay.
suspicious with all of us traveling together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I think like I would Guillaume would like find like just a part of his clothing, like a jacket, under his cloak and like give that to one of them just to make it so that they're not quite all dressed in rags. And like try to just cobble together whatever he could to kind of help them disguise themselves a little bit so they're a little less obvious. Um, but I do think, yeah, I do think we should go back to our safe house at least for the evening.
Uh,
I think in a. Oh, go ahead, Lux. Go ahead.
Locks will catch the lead Licostodia. What are they called? Leostodia. He'll kind of catch the lead one. I forgot his name, but Locks has that extra hat, the one that he was wearing before Sylvie made him one. And so he will pull out that hat and hand it to the guy, noting that earlier he had kind of reached up to, tip the brim to him, but there was no hat there. And so he'll just kind of hand it out to him and say, "Yeah, I've got an extra. I'm not using it."
This is a very fine hat. He kind of like traces the brim with his fingers and like curls the feather out. This is a very
I've
fine gift.
had that hat for probably about 15 years or so. It's seen me through a lot of hard times.
I will take it as a good luck charm. He like puts it on his head. It even fits.
Suit you. You look good.
He tips the hat. Much better. Until next time.
Lox tips his in turn, and as he turns, he kind of has like a flush to his cheeks a little bit, and is grinning a little stupidly, having met one of his heroes and given him a hat, and knowing that he's walking around wearing Lox's hat, it puts a little spring in his step.
And I imagine there is some grand fashion to their exit. They, deftly kind of step off of, a bridge onto the back of a gondola, and float away, the four of them, very quickly blending in with the rest of the people of the city.
I was going to say if need be to make sure that they have safe travel, I would use a sending spell to kind of contact the saint and say, hey, we're sending these guys to you, so they can meet up with him and be safe.
It's not long after you have said goodbye to them and like moored your boat, and kind of like disembarked, that someone has approached you with kind of a pleading look on their face. Did you happen to bring Olivida? Borjido Olivida, do you have any on board your ship? You are merchants, no?
Oh, fisherman, sir. Sorry, no wine here.
Damn it. He kind of like curses, pretty obviously angry, not even really like paying attention to the obvious ruse, and storms off.
Oh, that seems bad, right?
It's not the first time we've seen something similar, and people are paying outrageous amounts for this swill. I'm assuming there's something addictive in it.
You ever had to coax someone off the drink before? It's grisly business. I can only imagine this is that, but much worse.
Okay. Oh, I forgot about the other guy, the crazy guy in the boat. He probably went with Guillaume's father. Alonso is his name. He's definitely kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. The entire boat ride, he kept talking about sea monsters. And on several occasions, would spot something in the water and would be ready to leap out of the boat and go fight it. Only to discover that it was, a flock of geese or a stick turtle. But every time he was convinced that it was, in fact, a sea monster. He would pull up whatever happened to be at hand, a dagger, a sword, a wooden spoon, doesn't really matter, and would charge forward. He had to be kind of like pulled back and restrained on more than one occasion. And then he would settle down, and he was very affable, very pleasant to be around, but definitely not quite right. Okay, so you were headed to the safe house. Once again, the safe house provided to you by the Vicarians is, by no accounts, a big space. There's only really one full bed that's available. So the rest of you would have had to basically have found places on the floor or pushed pieces of furniture together to kind of make pallets to sleep on. It's a small space above a store, and the staircase that leads to it is on the outside of the building, so you don't have to worry about the shop being open or closed when you're coming and going. So as you are arriving, is there anything that you want to do or say as you come back to this spy shack?
I think Guillaume will turn to everyone kind of as we re-enter. Like, I've been thinking more and more about it, and maybe the captain had the right idea. Maybe we should bring this to the king. I know he's young and a little bit of a layabout, but maybe it's not the worst idea. Maybe having someone who might be upset at the Padre usurping his authority over the city could be a valuable ally. It's worth considering.
How do you propose we get close enough to him? Even if he's not part of it, the Padre undoubtedly has people all over the place.
That is hard.
Any inkling and word of, oh, hey, we're here to rat the Padre out to you is going to set off alarms.
Any advantage that we can get, I'm willing to take.
Mhm.
The chance of him being aware of what's going on are pretty slim, I would imagine. But there are those who'd be loyal to him over the Padre, and well, any sort of division that we can sow in those upper ranks, I think we should try for it.
Okay, I agree. Sylvie?
I agree that we need to make sure that what we have to say is for the king's ears only. But we do not even know if maybe one of the king's most trusted advisors works for the Padre. I would not be surprised if he is organizing it so that the king looks the other way at the opportune moments. That must come from somewhere. The fact that he has not noticed anything, I know he does not have the best reputation, but something about men and liking their land, I think he would even take notice, such as he is.
Hey, Jeremy, I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Was the king at the festival?
No, I don't think so.
Is this
Um,
something he would normally attend, being a 16-year-old boy?
um, so Mardival doesn't only happen in Aladalgo.
Okay,
It's kind of a kingdom-wide celebration, but Aladalgo just does it up really big.
extra. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So a 16-year-old who likes to party, it would be strange to not have been there. But there's also a certain level of Mardival that is about anonymity. There's a lot of like
Right.
intrigue about that, and it's a big part of the celebration. So it's not unheard of for royalty to attend without that being public knowledge.
So he could have been there.
Could have, yeah.
Anyone have any suggestions on how we get in to talk to the king without anyone else knowing?
We should maybe even see if the king make sure that the king is not and she like Sylvie like makes like fangs with her fingers.
Yeah, that's a brilliant point.
Because if he is, we have much bigger issues to deal with.
I wonder if the Queen Regent might be a way to, like, an avenue to approach the king. I don't know if she's advising him or if he would listen to her, but if we can't get to the king, she might be easier to reach, probably less watched.
Unless she's in on it. I am even doing what I do and running the business that I do, I have never felt a level of paranoia and distrust of everyone around me as I do in these moments right now. I can honestly say that you four are the only people I trust at this point. I don't even trust Ella, and I need to see her. I need to know if she's part of this, if she's safe, if she's. I'm terrified to meet up with her. Well,
It is like we have entered a game of chess that is already halfway through the game.
it is an unbelievable way to put that, and horribly, horribly accurate.
It doesn't help that so many of the pieces are unpainted and we won't know which side they're on until it's too late.
At this point, the board is unpainted. Okay, so my ideas, I have two. The first is I do what I do and wile my way into the young prince's bedroom. And then once alone with him, hey, so anyways, let's talk about this instead and put it all out there.
I mean,
Or
even if you do not get there immediately, I'm sure that people hear things. Soft pillow talk. I'm sure you can get more information. Maybe similarly, I can talk to my contacts and get more information on the Queen Regent. We
the
could come at
other,
it from both fronts.
absolutely, I completely agree. The other, The other thing I could do is, Sylvie, if you could whip me up the royal garb worthy of a king, I could shift into his father and show up in his window as his father and basically scare the shit out of this young man until he, we could manipulate him through his dead father's ghost.
Not gonna lie, that's a pretty dark idea.
Yeah, it's
And I I feel like that might raise some suspicion, but I do like it.
I mean, he's a 16-year-old boy who parties all the time. Oh, so he got drunk one night and saw his dead dad talking to him? No one's going to say anything about it because no one wants to admit that the young king might be crazy before he even becomes king. Like king.
Okay.
So we could call it Plan B. We could attempt contacts and pillow talk. Um,
My okay,
well,
just let me I wanna just brainstorm this for a second.
oh yeah,
Uh,
go for it, yeah.
No bad pitches in brainstorming, right? So, if you're to get in to see the king and have a private audience, how would you who would you present yourself as? Maybe it's time we deal with the captain of the Justicaros, and maybe if he disappears, someone who looks much like him could take his place, and that seems like someone who might be able to get a private audience. Could be a terrible idea. I'm
No,
sure
no,
he's one of
there's
the most protected men in the city.
there's something there. The part of plan B that I didn't disclose to you, Guillaume, was you would shapeshift into a rat, find out where the young prince's chambers are, and then I would just dimension door into them as a ghost of his dad, which would be even more traumatic.
Well,
But
I
I
like
like
this plan more.
I also fully appreciate killing the head of the Justicaros and uh Locks, you seem to have something to say, whistling casually over there in the corner. How do you feel about these plans? Because you're allowing Guillaume and I to plan, and this is
That's how we
our
ended up.
plans usually end up in sex. So
That's well, that's how we yeah, that's both how we ended up in a threesome with the saint and raiding a vampire castle. And like only one of those turned out really well.
Well, if it ain't broke, but it's going to be tough to get the king alone unless, well, what if we found out when the next big party was and found him there? I bet we'd be able to sneak off and have a private conversation at a big soiree. When's the next event that the king would be attending?
It's a good idea. Get him in somewhere more public. I'm sure he would still have some sort of private dressing chamber, but that would be easier for us to escape.
We're not going to get an audience through any official avenue. That we can pretty much assume, but we want him to trust us. So approaching him at a party might be our best option. Maybe we have a new drink for him to try.
I think that is a good idea. And up until the party, we can get intel. It gives us time to get information.
What
Well,
are the
and
chances? Sorry.
we can always pursue other leads too, still gather our information, have some contingency plans in place in case the party idea goes belly up.
What are the chances that the tainted wines have made their way to the castle?
Incredibly high. It was the best tasting wine, which means it's probably pretty exclusively what he was drinking.
Well, on top of that, if it's true, the chances that some of his staff are dealing with the withdrawal symptoms and can be manipulated are also very high. But I like any of these plans. I like parties. Shocking, I know. I like parties. I like manipulating the staff. There's a certain part of me that is extremely excited to just pretend to play his dead father and scare the ever-living shit out of him. For no reason other than I've never had this idea before and it seems like a lot of fun.
Ooh, with that plan, you could even accuse the Padre directly of conspiring to murder you.
Exactly.
That could help us turn him against him.
It could.
These are all great plans. I think my father would be proud of how much we're planning this.
So I thought about it. I know exactly what the next big soiree is going to be. It is going to be the coming of age party for the young poisoner that you know,
Perfect.
the daughter of the widow of
Jeez,
Alejandro.
fiance.
Yeah, 100%.
Does this party happen to be occurring at any soonish time frame?
Yeah, I mean, of course it is. We'll say maybe a week.
That sounds like just enough time to sew some new gowns.
I mean, it's almost like this was orchestrated. Okay, and the pros tomorrow. Okay, cool. So it sounds like the plan is to try to gather intel, make contacts, check up with contacts, in preparation for this party, and hopefully try to catch the king's ear while you're there. Okay, perfect. We're going to go ahead and take our break here, I think. So we're going to take a 10-minute bio, refill your drinks, kiss your spouse, smoke them if you got them, etc., etc. And we're going to be right back with the second part of session number 38 of Evermore le Masquerade, Liberté. Sit
Also
tight.
known as
We will be right back.
party planning.
Party planning, shopping. Hello, everyone, and welcome back from the break. You are here with us for session 38 of our Evermore le Masquerade campaign. This is titled Liberté. We have just reached the city of Aladalgo once more and found our way to the Vicarian spy house, the safe house that was provided to the group by someone with a connection to Sylvie's past. And you have recently made a prison break. So you're now laying low, at least in theory, and are discussing what plans you may want to enact next. And it sounds like coming up soon here that you're going to capitalize on a coming of age party, and are going to try to gain access to the king to see if you can't clue him in as to what's going on here in Aladalgo. But before that, which I think we determined was about a week out, you've got plans to make, people to talk to, ideas to hatch. So, what's happening with that?
Before we, while we were still hatching the initial plan, I think Sylvie would also have one more thing to bring up, which she turns to there is also the matter of the deal that we had with that we have to get information on the Saint of Rats in exchange for this safe house.
Right. I thought that Guillaume and I were going to regale them with tales of his favorite sexual positions in exchange for the information.
Well,
Since
I
they didn't
think that
specify what.
let us just say that Vicarians do not have the sense of humor that I think you would be wanting or expecting for that. I don't think they would react too kindly.
What? Are they at odds with him?
Sylvie shrugs. She doesn't know. I don't know what they have with him. I am guessing it is most likely someone else, a contact that they have, that they want information, and it's this whole chain of, well, if you get information from me, I want information about him. This group is more in the business of trading information, more so than just making their own moves for their own gains. So it's this never-ending web of favors and information to owe. So who knows?
I'm familiar. But there was no time limit put on this, correct?
No, but if I know them, we probably have about a week.
All right, so about at some point over the next week, I go pay him a visit for a night and ask him what he wants me to share with them. I'm not going to betray him, so if I do not have his okay to tell anyone something about him, I'm not going to.
That is fair. They were also quite vague in terms of what information that they wanted, or what information that they already even have about him. They are also assuming that we know a lot more about him than we might.
I have a feeling that if I tell him that we need information on him, and I tell him who it is for, he may already be aware that they're poking around, and he may even know more than we know.
I agree. I think it's best to. We already have so much deception on our plate. I think it's best to be honest where we can, and with our allies especially. Maybe don't tell him specifically that we've already promised to give them information. Um, but
No, I'm not going.
find out.
I'm going to tell him.
You'll finesse it. I know. You should probably do the talking for this one. I have a tendency to overshare.
Was there a point in this conversation where I said you were coming with me, Neil?
No, I'm saying you should be the one to do it.
Oh, okay. Thought you were saying you were going to be joining us again.
No, I'm kind of hoping I can maybe use some of this time to spy on the captain of the Justicaros. I want to find out a little more information about him and what he's doing in Lox's old estate.
That sounds like a brilliant use of your time.
Okay. So
Good
it sounds
thoughts, though,
like.
Sylvie.
Hmm?
I said good thoughts, though, Sylvie.
Okay. So it sounds like Vera is planning to try to meet with the Saint of Rats, and Guillaume is going to check out the old LaCroix estate.
I'll go with him, and it's the Diploma estate is what it's called.
Diploma. There you go.
Yeah.
The Diploma estate. Okay, perfect. Sylvie, what are you going to be up to during this time?
Sylvie, I think, is going to start trying to go through her. I know a while back we had established that she had some maid or servant ladies in waiting contacts that she had talked to at one point.
Okay, sure.
And she wants to do that to try and find information on the Queen Regent. I think we're trying to get information on who we might be able to trust.
Sure. All right. Okay. I think that's probably going to be the simplest, so let's go ahead and do that one. Get me Okay, how are you going about contacting these individuals?
She wants to go very slowly since she knows there's a target on her back. Maybe even starting maybe not starting with I imagine that there are some that she has kind of spoken with over the years who she knows that she might be able to trust at least a little bit, even as far as to pass on notes or
Okay.
So she kind of wants to put some distance between herself. So she wants to have like maybe some like middle people that she can have them pass messages or gain that kind of insight.
Okay. So there is also the woman that worked at your shop as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about her, but I don't know that Sylvie would want to
Oh, that's fair.
involve her, Constanza, just because
Costanza,
because the shop already got closed down, so I don't think that she would.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Okay. Yeah, I would say there are probably at least a few of them that are somewhat better known for their discretion. I mean, effectively, what you're tapping into is kind of a gossip network. So trustworthy people in a gossip network are hard to come by, kind of by the very
It,
nature of the beast.
yeah, she at least wants to confuse it so much. She doesn't have to trust anyone, but she just has to
I see.
be an unreliable person of, oh, did you hear this from this person? No, I heard it from this person. So like I think
I
she's going to
see. I
use her
see.
spying ways to just make it like, yeah, like remove herself a little bit from it.
Okay. So then let's get a deception roll.
Okay. That's an 18 on the die.
Okay. Um, so yeah, you know exactly who to go to and what parlors to whisper in order to spread misinformation about what you're doing and kind of lay the groundwork before you start actually asking questions. Um, and what you end up finding out about the Queen Regent is that she is distraught over the behavior of her son, that he does not seem to be taking his responsibilities seriously, that his father would be gravely disappointed in the way that he has been handling himself, that seems to be a private, like, sore spot with her. But whether she is, in cahoots with this person or that, it kind of runs the gamut. Some people say that, she had a secret lover, and that's who actually may have, killed the king. That she's not actually distraught over, the loss of, the father at all. And
But
everything
that
in
seems to be
between.
the through line of all of it is like she is mad at her son.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And, the kind of thing where she is the Queen Regent, but then again, he is old enough to really kind of exert his power as king. So there's not really a lot that she can do about it.
If I can, like, I think if Sylvie would then want to like pinpoint on that a little bit and maybe try and get information on if the queen is like losing any control or favor within the court because the king is now kind of coming into an age where he's making more decisions.
There have been a couple of individuals who have sided with her, or have, tried to intervene, tried to curb the king's behavior, who have definitely been kind of ousted, fallen from favor, not necessarily arrested or disappeared or anything as gruesome as that, but just, like you said, out of favor with the court. And the people who have replaced those individuals are, sycophants, the people who are enabling the king's indulgences.
Can Sylvie gain any intel on the allegiances of the queen, just in terms of like who she seems to favor, or if there is even any rumors unconfirmed of her meeting with the padre?
So you got an 18?
Yes.
Okay. You find out from one person. You're not certain whether this is accurate or not, but this one individual seemed to have been under the impression, based on something they heard, that the Queen Regent is not very fond of the Padre Primero, and that has been the case since her husband was alive.
Was the husband unknown? Is this something that is known if the husband was like a fan?
At least publicly so. They seemed to get
Hmm.
along rather well. Again, like there is no one like ruler in Al Hidalgo. It's a consigliere, so it's like a group of rulers.
Mhm.
And the Padre kind of became the de facto ruler just because of the fact that the church is so integrated into the daily life, and they have so much wealth. Um, so, because of that, him being kind of the de facto representative of Al Hidalgo, that the king and he dealt with each other quite often. As far as whether they were, good friends or anything like that, it's nobody seems to really know for sure. Okay. Um, let's do Vera's heading to the Saint of Rats next. Vera, do you just hitch a gondola ride to the old Rose Wall?
She'll send the saint a message and let him know that she'd like to see him. Basically she would say, my dear saint, I'm a discussion I would like to have. Worried for your safety. Tell me where to wait. And she'd go to wherever he says.
Okay. I think that he messages back that he can meet you within the hour. And he gives you there's like a particular bridge in Al Hidalgo that's kind of like known for like its architecture and how like beautiful it actually is. And that's where he is recommended that you meet.
Okay. She'll not go looking like herself. She'll completely change like the way that she looks, and the only thing she will do is she'll leave her eyes the double color that she always has them, so that when he looks at her he knows it's her. And she'll go wait for him.
Okay. Vera, the first thing that you notice is that as like dead as Al Hidalgo seems to be during the daytime, that is absolutely not the case at night. It's very much kind of back to its usual self during the evenings, and maybe even a little more so. There's a lot more. I don't know. Everything seems like it's not quite Mardival, but more like that. People are more boisterous, more loud,
I was gonna
more
say it's just a little bit more
horny.
rambunctious.
Yes, absolutely. Like they're living life bigger, which is saying something in Al Hidalgo. So there's all kinds of like frivolity and revelry. Like they're like kind of going around in these little pockets, kind of all around around you. But the upside to that is that none of them really seem to be paying much attention to anything that's going on outside of their little collection of people. So you approach, and Armand is kind of half sitting on one of the walls, the little half wall of the side of the bridge. And he's kind of humming along to whatever song it is that the passing gondolier happens to be singing at the moment.
So his back is like what, towards the water? Like
Mm-hmm.
he's sitting like up on the railing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like one leg kicked up, one leg down.
Uh Vera will just kind of in this look that she has, I think she usually does her hair in darker colors, so this time around she's probably got it like a blondish, maybe like a light strawberry blonde color, and it's pulled up, and she's not wearing anything super extravagant, but it's still pretty, but just not overtly so. And she's got on one of the kind of standard simple black masks that you see people wear through the city, kind of the just out on the town, no special event required kind of mask. And she'll wander up to him, and without kind of any sort of awkwardness at all, she'll just kind of slide like in between his legs, like she belongs there. And she'll look up at him, and she'll look at him and she'll say, "Do you hum because you don't want to drown out the gondolier, or do you hum because you do not know the words?" And she'll just smile at him.
He seems pleasantly surprised as you nuzzle up against him, um, and looks down, as if expecting a completely unfamiliar face, and sees it for a moment. But then he sees your eyes. He says, "Ah, I know you."
Should hope so. You know a lot of me.
Indeed, indeed. Why is it that you wanted to meet?
Well, I mean,
Sounded urgent.
say simply that I missed you.
Oh, see, here I was expecting that this was a visit based on business. I am very glad to be proven wrong.
Um, shall we wander off to someplace more comfortable?
Oh, yes, what did you have in mind?
No, I don't know. Surprise me. Take me somewhere interesting.
Somewhere interesting. Very well. Come with me. And he turns and starts to walk away with like a flourish of like this little like leather half cape that he's wearing.
She'll kind of smirk at him, and for the briefest second just enjoy the view as he walks away, and then she'll catch up to him and slide her arm in his.
He takes you through a a bustling like party that is in full swing. There is music being played. There's people dancing. There's people enjoying each other's company in the corner. Um, and it's obvious that like this is the late hours of the party. Um, he walks straight in through the front doors, and picks up a glass of something, some kind of alcohol on the table, and will pass it to you, and then takes another. It is not Olavida, I promise.
She smiles and takes a sip.
I doubt that they could afford the Borjido Olavida. Even this fine party.
I've heard
But
the
it is,
prices are
go ahead.
becoming ridiculous.
Indeed. I heard it's a bit of a scarcity nowadays.
I hope nothing's happened to the vineyard.
It would be most tragic. Here, this way. And he kind of like motions towards the staircase, like leading upwards.
She'll follow him up.
You follow him up. There is a kind of a large, well-appointed bedroom that he opens the door to and walks in as if he owned the place. You can see the bed is empty, but it's obvious that it has had someone in it recently. The pillows and the bed sheets are kind of like haphazard, tossed about the place. The room has that kind of warm smell that follows lovers. He moves straight to the large double doors and on the like a balcony, and opens them out onto a balcony. He steps out onto this balcony, and you can smell like the bouquet of like fresh flowers that kind of rushes into the room. And beyond, you can hear the clash of steel. And he kind of turns back with kind of a wicked smile and a raised eyebrow, and kind of like gestures towards the balcony.
She'll step out on the balcony with him.
Step out onto the balcony, and looking down, you can see that you are in a house that basically looks into the courtyard of the Justicaros.
Shit. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
There is, the actual cathedral of Evandel kind of on the far side, and on the back side is almost like an open air courtyard. It's kind of like a garden, but also kind of like a training yard. So this is kind of that doesn't work. This is kind of what you're looking at here. And you can see that the Justicaros are in the midst of training. Several of them are going through routines.
I have to ask, do I see Ella down there at all?
You do not.
Okay. They're training so late into the night.
Almost all of the activity here in Aradalgo has shifted. People are living as if day were night, and vice versa.
Have you had anything odd happening with any of yours?
There have been a few who had an affection for the Olavida. I have started to try to wean my people from its taste, but there are a few who are, well, it tastes good. I can hardly blame them.
It does. We got off the boat tonight and were met at the docks by a man demanding that we were merchants and that we had some to share. But before we enjoy the rest of our night, I would don't want to lead you on any further, and there is some business we need to discuss.
I knew it. I knew it.
I mean, I do miss you, but
What is it that I can do for you?
You're sure no one can hear us here?
He kind of like leans out the window conspiratorially, like kind of looks around. He closes the balcony doors. I think, for the moment, there is no one here but you and me.
Right. I have a small confession to make to you. We recently found ourselves in a bit of trouble.
Again,
And, things it seems never ending. Hopefully, well,
I am no stranger to trouble. It does not bother me.
I am ashamed to admit that in a few moments of need, Sylvie had some contacts from her younger years, and they offered us refuge when we had none. And we were too scared to bring anything to your doorstep.
I see. Very
In
well.
exchange for this refuge, apparently it is not unknown that we are minor associates of yours, and we were asked for information on you.
Minor associates, he
Well,
says, and he kind of like pulls at like the sash on your dress.
well, some of us more so than others.
I see. So
She,
they asked you to get information about
on
me.
you. Yes.
Well,
So,
I
aside
cannot pretend
from
that I am unflattered.
aside from uh, just missing you, I am here to get information on you that you wish to pass along. And I am also here to spend all night begging for your forgiveness if I have to.
I see. Well, I am sure that we can come up with some form of penance. As to what exactly shall be in your report, we shan't give them too many scandalous details. I'm sure they could not bear it.
No, Sylvie says that this group is. That was my initial idea, was to give them some of the more lurid details, I know, but Sylvie says this group is not the kind that has the humor for those types of answers, so.
Ah. Well,
It is, and she'll say what group name, but she can't remember what the
mhm.
name of the group is. You can't remember it.
Yeah, Vicarillians.
Vicarillians.
They're
Yeah,
kind of the
they're
English
Vicarillians.
analog. Yeah. Ah, well, that explains it. They do not have much of a sense of humor when it comes to the finer things in life. Well, what to tell them? This group is a friend, belongs to a friend of yours, or your friend belongs to it?
I'm not exactly sure of the ties. Um, there is definitely some history there. Not one that we have had, honestly, even a moment to really sit down and get into as to how and why. Just
But
something along her childhood.
your friend trusts these people.
She trusts them enough to let them know where we're staying. In the middle of a city that is basically kill on sight.
And you, he kind of like reaches out and like takes both of your hands and makes sure that you're looking at him. You trust this friend?
I trust her, yes.
Kind of looks at you for a long moment, and then he nods. Very well. Then I trust you. So, if they are in fact friends to be trusted, maybe that friendship can be leveraged. If you want to tell them whatever it is that you deem necessary about me, he kind of shrugs. I am okay with this. But in the conflict that is inevitably to come, I would ask that they lend whatever help they can. If we are going to go up against the Justicaros, it kind of indicates the balcony in the Padre Primero, we are going to need friends everywhere we can find them. And spies are useful, even if they are not necessarily a part of my network.
Do you have anything specific you want told? I was basically offering this up as a way for you to plant misinformation if you feel like you need to.
Overestimating our numbers would probably be a good idea, just in case. I suppose we could, if you are having doubts, we could use this as a method of testing to see if information leaks from this group.
What saucy rumor do you want to spread?
Tell them that I am a member of the Iron Masks.
Oh, interesting.
That I have infiltrated it deeply. And I know many secrets about it and who the benefactor is behind this organization. Would that work?
That works wonders. So I think business is done now.
That's good. We
I
have
think
so much of the evening left, though. What are we to do?
First, I have a quick question. Is this your room?
This? Hardly.
What are the likelihoods of us being able to borrow this patio at some point?
That I cannot attest to. The people that live here throw parties frequently and are known for getting more than a little drunk early in the evening. The entire
That's good to
estate
know.
is basically a free-for-all once they pass out.
Good, good. Now, business is entirely done. And I do believe I have penance to pay.
Indeed. He kind of moves back towards the door where you can hear the party still kind of like going on downstairs and closes the door where the party is now muffled.
I think as we like fade to black, it's just him turning around and Vera's like slipping out of her clothes, and as she's doing that, she's completely dropping like her fake mask that she like, not the real mask, but like her artificial look that she's taken over in her shift, and she's just going into her like pure changeling form that she's almost never in.
And he smiles and he says, "See, I told you I knew you."
You do? and she will spend the night with him until the wee hours of the morning when they have to go their separate ways.
Fantastic. Okay. So, next up is Guillaume and Locks, the buddy cop comedy that nobody saw coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say it like cuts from Vera experiencing this like night of romance to like Guillaume and Locke sitting in a car like eating hot dogs or something, like, you know, staking out the estate.
Absolutely. Matt, what does the De Pluma estate look like?
Um, it is old. The architecture sort of harkens back to an era older than most of the buildings in El Hidalgo. And so it sort of has like a unique character to it. It uh, does not look like any of the other sort of manors that litter this area of town. Um, it has a low wall encircling it, and the main building, which is off to the left, is octagonal, and it kind of goes up a few stories. And then there's a long covered bridge that extends out from the top floor of that central structure and connects up with the wall off to the right. So there's like this long sort of almost gangway that sort of goes over the courtyard area. There's some other little buildings scattered about, and then there's the large courtyard area. And at the center of that courtyard is this massive olive tree, this like really gorgeous, beautiful olive tree. Um, and there is not a horse house, but there are, or rather, used to be kennels for peacocks, which would roam the estate. I don't know if that is still the case, but I imagine that it will be changed from how Locks knew it so many years ago.
Definitely. And I think, in fact, that's probably the main event that you are witnessing as you kind of like first gain eyes on the estate, is the peacock stables, the hen, whatever it would be called, the coop, is being dismantled.
The birdhouse.
The birdhouse. There you go. Makes sense. It is currently being dismantled, and not gently so. There's more than one sighting of like a dead peacock. It's kind of like tossed out. Feathers that are being like categorically like stacked up, nearby on like a pile of rocks, quite obviously meant for sale. But yeah, I imagine that you've been able to kind of get within distance where you can hear that they're talking, but not necessarily hear what they're saying, as they're going about this business. But you found like a place where you can kind of tuck away and keep an eye on things without danger of being spotted yourselves.
Yeah, I actually think there's maybe like a park across the street, like a little area of that has like grass and some sort of cultivated plants around. It's very nice, very sort of manicured. Um, and it's not odd to see people like sitting on benches or even like being in the grass hanging out. So I think Guillaume and I are posted up over there, like in the shade somewhere, I guess it's nighttime. So, uh, but across the street in that park. Um, we'd probably sit there in silence for a good 10-15 minutes, just kind of watching this dismantling happen. Um, before Lox just says, without even like looking at Guillaume or like leading into it, I ain't ever lied to you, but I also ain't told you much.
I figured you'd get to it when the time was right, when you felt like sharing. I was always happy to talk more than enough for both of us.
I think that's why I've stuck around so long, is none of you ever cried or made me feel like I needed to speak up. It just hasn't been important until now. And I'd like to think that if it had been earlier, well, I'd like to think that I would have spoken up then. I used to live here when I was very young, and I wasn't called LaCroix then, I was called De Pluma. This is the Pluma family estate. I'm a noble by birth, not rich, but my family's been well off for generations here in El Hidalgo. We've made a name for ourselves. When I was 6, 7 years old, see, I'm the seventh kid. There was no chance of me taking on any sort of responsibility in the family, but I was decent with a sword, and I had a spark of magic too. Plumas are known for that too, magic. Well, I had a little bit, and it had been a while since anyone in my family had that. So I got to start training, learning sword, learning some spells. The stuff I got is the stuff I got. It's what I learned back then. Haven't learned much more. Uh, I'm not sure why, although I have a theory now, but Rocatore didn't like my dad much. And, well, I can't even remember what led up to it, but one day the Justicaros were there at our house at the estate, and fighting started, and everyone uh, died. They killed everyone. All six of my siblings, mom and dad, and I ran, and well, here I am now. At some point, it got back to me that Rocatore had taken my dad's title, and something clicked for me, something I'd kind of been putting off, and that was coming back here and setting what was right, what needed to be right. I've learned to live without the money. Most of my life, I haven't had any. I don't want any of that. I don't want the estate. I don't want inheritance. I don't want a title. But I would love to kill Rakatori for what he did to people I cared about.
Guillaume is quiet for a moment. Says, well, then I think we should do that. I think we should kill him extremely dead. And I mean, if you get the title and the money and the land and the inheritance, not a bad bonus. But first, let's worry about making him die.
Yeah. Well, and about that theory, what if my dad had been on to what was going on, the takeover? What if my dad had clued into some of this, what's happening now? What if it wasn't just taking what was his because it was there? What if Rakatori was trying to silence the Plumas for what we knew? I think about that now. I think that's part of me just wanting to make sense of why I'm doing all of this, why I'm here fighting vampires, because I'm finishing what he started, right? I don't know.
Thank you for telling me that, Lox. I I do appreciate the honesty. I say we find out where he sleeps and then we go stab him there.
No, I don't want to kill him standing up.
Sure, you stand up, he lies down, you stab him repeatedly until he can't stand up anymore. Oh,
Locks
you mean
just
like the
like
honorable way.
Locks just like grips your shoulder and like squeezes it, which is like the closest thing you'll probably get to him like sobbing in your arms.
All right. I want to hear what they're saying. I want to know what they're talking about. Keep an eye out. Anything sounds off. Anyone seems to look suspicious that I might not notice. Hoot twice. Uh, and with that, Guillaume will kind of pat him back on the shoulder and find a bit of a shadowy spot to transform and like as carefully as possible kind of scurry across the cobbles into another patch of darkness. Just trying to get at least close enough to like hear if there's conversation going on. How many people do we see in this from our vantage point?
So you can see quite a few individuals that are kind of on patrol around the estate here and there. Some of them are standing guard. Some of them are like actively like walking in like routes. As far as like the dismantling of this peacock roost, there's just two of them that seem to be doing this currently.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do I see any other like rats around? It is nighttime and in the city. I'm
Yeah, I
wondering if
imagine.
there's
Yeah, you can probably smell them and hear them long before you see them. But there are definitely rats around. There's probably quite a few of them that have been displaced from this peacock roost. Probably with an abandoned estate, especially. I imagine they have been living it up large inside the confines of the coop. And now that it's being torn apart, they're kind of like scattered, watching what's going on.
yeah, I'll kind of join up with whatever group of them I'm able to find just to kind of
Mhm.
blend in a little bit more. Um, Particularly if they seem like they're not being specifically disturbed, like they're being kind of left alone. Um, Really, I just want to get close enough to kind of see if I can scout out any more of what's going on inside of this place or hear any conversations happening. And I'm also just trying to keep an eye out for the captain himself, or
Okay,
I'm blanking on his name. You just said
I'll
it
put
a
it in the
couple
chat.
times. Like,
Incendio del Rocatore.
yes, incendiary Rocinante.
Exactly. Um, so you get closer to this roost, where these two individuals are dismantling it, and you kind of catch the tail end of one of them saying, "It's it's worse than having to clear out the crypts, honestly." One of them says, "But those were dead bodies. It was way worse." No, no, no. See, those were dead bodies, but they were just bones. These creatures are. Look, there's shit everywhere. Well, the bones were at least a lot lighter than these stupid planks, and he kind of like kicks really hard to break one. Ah, there's another one. You hear one of them say, and there's like a scramble, and there's that terrible, awful noise that peacocks make. Um, as you can hear them kind of like chasing one of them down before there's kind of a wet plunge of a blade, and it goes quiet. And then one of them emerges carrying the thing by its neck. "Don't forget the tail feathers," the one says, and he kind of sighs, and he starts kind of roughly like plucking out these tail feathers from his bird before he adds them to the stack and tosses the bird kind of just out into the yard. The rats that you're with, don't waste any time.
I think I'm gonna go with them actually. If they're like heading in, like it seems like they're, kind of going slightly closer that's actually exactly what I was thinking of. Like, I wonder, like, I'm not gonna eat any of this dead bird, but I am going to like appear to be um to just kind of keep sneaking in closer because like I honestly I if there's like seems like an obvious way into the house, I want to go in and just kind of do a little bit of scouting.
Okay. So probably not from directly here where the roost is, but kind of along this wall. If you kind of like move further down, you absolutely would be able to find some little, crack in the wall or missing brick or something that would give you egress into the house. Um, so you head inside, and it's not it is not a party by any stretch of the imagination. There's not like festivities that are happening, but there is a lot of activity in the house. Again, um, it's almost like it were more the middle of the day rather than the middle of the night. These people are, doing chores and um, like scrubbing, the floors and the walls, and they're moving furniture around. It's very obvious that this place is receiving a makeover. It's being refurnished from top to bottom. And there's a lot of people around. A few of them kind of like stomp at you or like shoo you away whenever they see you, but they don't really pay it much more attention than that.
Um, being generally, I know every house is different, but there's sort of a general sense of layouts. Like I want to try to head towards whatever wing seems like it would be, either like the like master bedroom. Yeah, probably that.
Okay. Um, so you kind of like follow just your instincts. You've been in a lot of nice houses, I would imagine. Guillaume has probably grown up around, affluence, and um, you make your way down one of the hallways where there is a grand bedroom that is off of this hall towards the back. Has a beautiful view of like the courtyard, and is extremely well appointed. And there are currently two people in this room as well, both of them female, and they are kind of bustling around the room, kind of arguing about whether this fabric matches well enough or not, for what is already sitting in the room.
Okay. In this room, does there appear to be any sort of like desk, or is it just purely a bedroom? Is there like any papers, effects, books,
Um,
shelves, anything like that?
yeah, that would be pretty minimal. You get the feeling that there is probably a dedicated study, but this definitely has like a small writing desk, kind of off to one side.
Okay. All right. I think, and the two women in here, they seem like more like household staff sort of thing, or like are they just Icaros?
No, they're not dressed like Justicaros at all.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try something really stupid and maybe very risky. Um, but that's exactly what my dad told me to do. He said, "Go balls to the wall, go large." I'm going to find a little like basically outside the door, just do a quick check around in the hallway. Is there anybody in the hallway with me?
No.
Perfect. I'm going to shift back into my human form and very quickly cast disguise self on myself to make myself look like the captain of the Justicaros. And then I am going to walk incredibly confidently into this room and say in his voice, "Out now, I need privacy."
Remind me, disguise self. Does that make you look exactly like a specific person? Or is it that you can make yourself look different?
I believe I can use it either way.
Okay. I know
Changes
there are
your
some spells that
appearance.
do it and some spells that don't.
Look, you make yourself, including your stuff, look different until the spell ends, or you use your action to dismiss it. You can seem 1 foot shorter or taller. It can appear thin, fat. So I guess what I would like to try to do is just because it's the same body type, like it's a humanoid,
Right.
same number of limbs. I want to make myself look like the best approximation, at least, that I can muster.
Okay. Yeah. Get as close as you possibly can with the magic and hope that, like the dim lighting or whatever does the rest.
Yeah, and I can I can add like clothing, so I'll like add put it like as if I'm wearing like a Justacaro outfit with his hat.
Okay. Give me a
Oh boy,
hmm, deception roll,
deception.
I
Yeah,
think, at
that's.
advantage.
Oh boy, I wish I'd put any points into deception. Oh well, okay, nat 20 on the first roll
Well,
for a 21.
that'll certainly make up for.
That's the better of the two.
Okay. Yeah, so this is what you currently look like, you know, or at least as close as the magic will get you. Um, and you walk into the room and, shout, you know, out. And they both kind of look your direction, kind of jump, and cast their eyes towards the floor and head towards the door.
Amazing. I will shut the door behind them and I'm going to go as quickly as I can. I want to just rifle through the desk. I want to see if there are any papers, anything that, because like I'm not sure if he's been staying here or if he's just sort of taken this place over. And then if there are any like small effects that seem like they could have at one time belonged to the Diploma family, anything like any like brooches or amulets type thing. I'll check under the bed too. And just kind of any little nook and cranny in this room that seems like it could house something. I just want to kind of rifle through this room as quickly as I can. See if there's anything of interest I can find.
Okay. Give me an investigation roll. And while you do that, Locks, you are outside, keeping an eye on things. And suddenly, the room that you can see that faces the courtyard here, the open balcony into the master bedroom, you suddenly hear like shout. And as your eyes kind of look up there, you see Rocatore pass by the open doors.
Uh, this is not my first time seeing him since I got back to Aladalgo, but seeing him in the estate, like in my parents' bedroom, uh, my teeth just clench. Uh, but my immediate concern is Guillaume, uh, because he's been gone a while now, and I'm going to assume that he has snuck inside the house because that's what Guillaume would do. Uh, so I think that I'll stand and kind of like briskly walk across the street. Um, and I'm going to move to the outer wall of the estate. And I know a place where I could get in because it's the place that I escaped from the night that the Justicaros killed my family. And so I move over to that portion of the wall where there's this low hanging branch that I'll be able to jump up and pull myself up. And I move to that branch and I put my back to the wall and I just wait and I listen.
Okay. I imagine that this is probably also somewhat near the coop of the peacocks, and you can kind of hear similar conversation about effectively these two individuals complaining about this duty that they have been assigned, and comparing it to the emptying of the crypt. Guillaume, inside, you are kind of rifling through, tossing this room as best you can, as quickly as you can. Um, None of the stuff here strikes you as being portable enough, and or having belonged to the Diploma family. Anything that you think could have been carried out of the Diploma estate probably would have been, long before now. And this is very much someone is moving in. There are crates that have, that kind of straw, like packing them. Things are being like brought in. The ladies in here look like they were literally fixing curtains in place. But as far as papers in the desk, you find a couple that have just some notes scribbled about things in the estate that need to be updated or changed, but there's nothing really juicy, and you get the impression that this is not where he has been staying currently, and that these are, again, just possessions that are kind of being brought here and set up for him.
Okay. Damn. Then I'm just going to take a piece of whatever the ripest, nastiest cheese that I carry on me is, and I'm going to find the most secretive place I can to stash it and just try to make this room at least smell bad if I can't find anything of use in here. And then I will crack the door again, kind of peek out, try to suss out which direction any sort of study might be, and then I'll go ahead and shift back into rat form and try to find that.
Okay. You head deeper into the estate, and while you're doing that, Lox, are you still just waiting and listening?
These two men who are complaining about their work and dismantling this coop and killing the peacocks. The sounds are too much for Lox. And there's like a moment where he's standing there against the wall. His eye is closed, and all he can hear is the sound of these birds being slaughtered, and his eye just snaps open. He pulls up the scarf of his cloak over his face, leaps up and grabs the branch, and is going to climb up over the wall. And he will approach these two with his blade in one hand and his crossbow in the other. And I imagine that they're like, backs to the wall. And before they can spot him, he just speaks and says, "I'm not a very good shot with this here crossbow, so it wouldn't be a clean kill. Both of you back away."
They kind of turn and look at you, shocked, surprised, freeze in their steps. Who are you?
Nobody. You two like killing animals?
Not particularly, no.
What do you like to do?
Read?
Read. Good. Why don't you go do some reading?
But the master of the house has ordered us to take this coop down.
There's a creak from the wooden grip of the crossbow.
But there is that book that I has been meaning to finish. I really should see how it ends. He kind of pats his friend on the shoulder, hands him like the hammer that he's been using to like pull this stuff down. And he kind of gives you a half-hearted wave and walks out. The other guy kind of remains standing there, not through any form of defiance, more of just kind of like shock. Kind of puts the hammer down. Suppose that maybe I could be done for the day as well.
I think that's probably a good idea.
Have a wonderful day. He kind of like has to like turn sideways to get past you, and then takes off running.
Lox eases out of breath. He realizes the hand that is gripping the crossbow is trembling slightly. He moves over to the pile of peacock corpses with their feathers plucked out, and he says, "Guillaume, Guillaume." There's like a rat that like stops and looks up at him, and he goes, "Guillaume." Not finding his friend though, he will move toward the estate, moving beneath the sort of raised gangway over the courtyard. He passes the olive tree and has a brief flash memory of training with his swordmaster in this courtyard by this tree. And he remembers too the vision that he had as the party approached the vampire castle, where he saw this tree oozing with disease and rot, a dead skeletal thing, and he just shakes it off, remembering that Guillaume is inside and that Rocatore is inside, and he will move to the rear door, whatever, and enters into a kitchen or whatever near the back of the house, and post up near that door.
Meanwhile, Guillaume, you have found what you are looking for, the study. You get the feeling that perhaps at least the books have been kept, that those have remained from the previous ownership. This room does not look like it has been furnished yet. There is a desk here, but it is like knocked over onto its side. It looks like it was at one time a very nice, very well-appointed desk, but it has definitely been neglected for a number of years. There's like spider webs and stuff like underneath, connecting to the legs of the table. Its contents are kind of like spilled out on the floor, and nothing has really been done about it.
If this room is devoid of people, I'd like to do basically the same thing without disguising myself. Just kind of shift back into human form, shut the door as quietly as I can behind me. Just do another quick rifle through the space, try to find anything of note. Really, just anything that might give me particularly something that might give me a clue to the Rocatory's plans, not for the mansion, but just in general. And yeah, anything that I think might be useful against him.
Okay.
Or again, any effects that seem like they might have been left behind or overlooked from the diplomas if no one's been living here for a while. Just trying to see like how much of this place was cleared out after the family was killed. 'Cause it's been a long time. So I imagine it might not be much, but
Yeah. From the lower shelves, the ones that you can access, from the floor, most of the books have been kind of pulled out, jostled around, not put back in any kind of like good order. And there's several of them that are missing. You can see large gaps. Um, but anything kind of above, I don't know, 8 feet or so, is still fairly well stocked. Dusty, but stocked. That's why you definitely think that this was here prior. Um, you don't see a lot of, like I said, new furniture as of right now. But there is like a side table that apparently was here, and it is righted, so it's standing, upright, and it has a single book on it that looks like the dust has been kind of swiped, like just once, kind of across its cover, and it is sitting on this side table, and you think you see a small piece of paper sticking out of the top of it, like pushed in between pages.
Yeah, I'll make a beeline for that, and I'll start by just looking at the title of the book and then pull the paper out.
Um, the book is um, the compiled histories of the Diploma estate, and the author is Lox's father.
I'll grab that and like slip it into my little bag. But I'll see what's on the loose leaf.
The piece of paper says, "The estate is now yours. Do with it what you will, but scrub any mention of that family." And it's signed simply with an L.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like I'm not gonna find much here beyond the fact that it's being refitted now. It seems like the Padre must have given it to him fully. I assume that's the L, Ludovico. And I'll shift back into rat form and start making my way back to where I assume Lox is going to be across the street.
Perfect. You scuttle out of the house, make your way across the courtyard. Um, you're probably about halfway across the courtyard before you realize that you actually smell Lox a lot stronger than you should just yet.
I'll follow my nose if it seems like he might be closer, because now I'm worried that he was spotted and captured.
Lox, does he find you still posted up next to the door?
Uh, yeah, he probably finds me like uh with my lockpicks out in the door, and I'm muttering something about where the hell is Chimeran? He's better at this than I am. And I see this rat come around the corner, and I sort of turn and I go, Guillaume?
Yeah, the rat winks up at you, and then like does this little head nod. It's like towards the way out.
Locke says, Rockatori's in there. There's no Justicaros around. We could grab him now.
Is there anyone like near us, or do we seem to be in a pretty like
So
isolated space?
there are guards that seem to patrol every once in a while. So there will be people who come within earshot of you at least.
Okay, then I think Guillaume is he finds it very hard to communicate in rat form. Like he starts by like shaking his head, and then there's just sort of like a heavy rat sigh, and he very quickly shifts back just into the rat hybrid form, just so he's not as recognizable. Um, and like that sort of scratchy voice that he has in that form says like, No, I was disguising myself. Where did you see him? Was it the bedroom?
Oh, yes, I'm an idiot, of course. Okay, let's go, let's go. And Lux will actually stoop and pick up. Oh no, you're in your hybrid rat form. I don't want to touch you. That's
I'm
gross.
gonna shift back as soon as
Okay,
I finish
okay,
like telling you.
okay.
Um,
I don't want to touch you as the rat man. If you're a human or a rat, that's fine, but not halfway, not in between. Not cool. I'll scoop up Guillaume in his rat form and just sort of tuck him like a football as I run towards the tree, um, and quickly hop over, grabbing the branch and going over the wall.
Amazing. So I think what we see next is when your group reconvenes back at the safe house. What is the what is currently happening in the
Oh,
safe house? What are you currently doing?
before we get to the safe house, though, I did forget to
Mm-hmm.
ask before we, started enjoying our night. Um, Vera would at one point have asked the King of Rats, so do you know anything about our young king? I mean, aside from the
Um,
fact that he's 16 and parties all the time.
I had certainly heard the tales that he is voracious, but as far as his politics goes, I have not really heard one way or the other. I don't think he fancies being involved. He seems happy to let his advisors do most of the decision making. Simply think he simply applies his signature wherever it is asked of him.
It's good. On a completely related note, are you going to be busy on blah 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 day of blah blah blah? We'll be attending a party at to celebrate the coming of age of the Primanda de Veleno.
I had not received an invitation. Are you
Well,
looking for a date?
I would love to. Thank you.
Well, then I suppose that I will be going to a party.
Wonderful. Hmm. Um, her mother is I don't know if you've met her, but whew,
The widow of Aledalgo?
yes.
I have met her once or twice before.
She apparently thinks that Guillaume would make an excellent husband for her daughter.
Uh, I'm afraid that is not a match that I can see working.
No, I think the most those two have in common is they love to craft things that go boom.
Well, then it should certainly be an interesting party. I am assuming that Guillaume will be there as well.
He will, but he will be most likely disguised.
Ah, well, that is a shame. Maybe there will be some something explosive that happens that evening all the same.
Yes, hopefully there will. Okay, I must it's getting late. I have to return to our hideout. Can't be
Yes,
seen
of
leaving with
course.
you.
Somebody like at some point like throws the doors open expecting the bedroom to be empty. We were just leaving, he says as he like sweeps past this person that's looking completely in shock. Who are you? Right this way.
Ah. We are the couple that just took advantage of that wonderful bed you have.
They look completely gobsmacked. How dare you?
I mean, do you want the physicians or?
Disgusted, they walk in and slam the door.
Huh, imagine. I didn't think anyone like that existed in Gadal. It's, I don't know how to take that. And that's it.
You
She'll
very
walk out
quickly.
with the. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you very quickly, like, leave the party and it's
Yep.
dwindling, moments. Um, the musicians are packing things up for the night, getting ready to leave. The few last hangers on are being politely ushered out of the estate by the staff. You're able to easily make your way into that crowd of people that are just kind of being pushed out. And then yeah, you're free to leave without any issue whatsoever. So now back at the estate, or not the estate, the if only back at the safe house, where you are gathering together once again. Is there any kind of plan hatching now that there's new information on the board? Is there anything further discussion that is transpiring? Anything else that is being discussed? Champagne being had, board games being played.
Vera is absolutely sharing the information that she learned. She's absolutely sharing the fact that she now knows a house that has a balcony that overhangs the Justicaro's training yard. So that's super important. She's also sharing the fact that the saint told her that that from what he's heard about the young king, his advisors make all the decisions and the king just signs whatever is in front of him, which is kind of important to know. Um, and then she'll also mention the bit that she said in, in a more delicate way towards Sylvie about like, uh, well, she would say to Sylvie, she'd say, so the saint is he's cautious and says if you trust them, then he trusts them because I trust you. And he is also curious as to finding out if any information leaks and gave me a couple of tidbits of information to share with them. But otherwise, he says we can tell them what we will.
I think that we should get more information on what they know and exactly what they are looking for before we tell them any information. This is a common ploy where they give vague questions with the hopes that they just get everything.
All right.
As for trust, that is tricky. How do you trust someone who buys and sells the secrets of others? They are, however, loyal to Valkyrill.
Yep, Vicarill. Yep.
Vicarill.
Mhm.
And the people there. So we are protected, myself and by extension, you.
I regret to say we didn't find much of use at the Diploma estate. The place had been pretty thoroughly emptied out. Oh, Lux, I did recover this, and he'll pull the book out and hand it to you. Um, there was this loose leaf in it as well. It was being given. It seems like your like the family history is being scrubbed from the place, which we sort of expected. I will tell you, I briefly considered starting a fire before I left, just to deprive our enemies of one more safe haven. But I figured once we do kill him and we get you your estate back, it would be nice to have your home on it. Um, an empty parcel of land with a burned out husk is just far less pleasant. The one piece of information I did gather is that it seems like they're emptying the crypts. I don't know what for, but if there's some way we can gain access to that, it might be another useful place to poke around.
Jeremy, do I recognize that book that Guillaume hands me?
I think you probably do. It might be from like, a distant memory, but
Yeah.
you seem to remember like your father toiling kind of over the writing of this particular book.
Um, I sort of brush my hand across the surface, feeling like the familiar sort of embossed cover. Thanks, Guillaume. Uh, yeah, I might be able to get us into the crypts, but I think the longer we wait, the harder it'll be to get back in there.
Yeah,
Oh, and
sorry.
sorry, Lox will also like fill everyone else in too on what he told Guillaume, basically giving them the Cliff's notes of like, hey, I was born here. I'm actually noble by birth. I was like really young, and the Justicaros killed my family. I'm now coming back, just so everyone knows. Uh, and then yeah, that thanking Guillaume for the book. He's like genuinely touched to have even just a little piece of history.
This may seem like a weird suggestion, but you never know with these things. Is there any way that you can kind of read through that pretty quick, Locks, and see if there's anything that seems out of place? If they're digging around in your family crypts for something, maybe there's some sort of weird hint as to why they might be.
Yeah, I'll read through it. I remember bits and pieces. Uh, if I can't find anything, another set of eyes would be good though.
She looks over at Guillaume. This is your area of expertise.
Well, if you need help reading a book, I guess I'm always there for that.
Cut to Lox and Guillaume sitting on their stomachs on the bed, kicking their feet, like with the
That's,
book open in front of
that's
them.
exactly what I just pictured. In my
Little
head.
plate of
Again, I'm
cheese
like,
and crackers
"Hmm."
and bread and stuff, and they're just
Guillaume has a highlighter. It's like highlighting stuff in the book.
there's a brief montage where they like start a pillow fight and then fall onto the bed laughing and then get like a sip of wine and stuff. Meanwhile, Sylvie and Vera are just sitting over in the corner, like, okay, back to the serious stuff.
Okay. It sounds like we have some information to digest, a book to read, and figure out what exactly it's going to contain. We'll get hopefully Chimeran's input on all of this and anything else that might be added to the mix. And then next time, set plans in motion. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to try to do before the masquerade, the party, the coming of age party? So I can have
Well,
prepared
Sylvie is
next
going
time.
to make some very nice outfits, I'm sure.
Perfect.
I
Absolutely.
was gonna say we need some fresh drip, so we gotta get some new
Hmm.
outfits up in here.
There's going to
Yeah.
be a sewing montage during this time.
Wahoo!
Excellent.
I was thinking like, yeah, on the way back, like just like quick little cuts of like Guillaume occasionally like going rat, sneaking into like clearly rich people's houses, stealing bits of like fabric and pieces of clothing, uh,
Nice.
just like stuffing them into a sack.
I was actually that's a great point. I was gonna mention, Jeremy, maybe on the way out, Lox could have grabbed a couple fistfuls of peacock feathers that were piled there that
Oh
they had been
yeah.
plucking out and bring those back for Sylvie to use for whatever.
Nice.
'Cause
Absolutely.
feathers ain't cheap. I know
True
that.
that. True that.
I
Okay.
definitely think
Go ahead.
at some point, and we don't have to do it tonight, we can do it next session. Vera is going to uh want to call, want to send a message to Ella and meet up with her and stuff, but it's getting
Ah,
late and
yes.
stuff,
Yeah.
so
Guillaume was also going to basically ask Vera when she does that to ask her for any information she has on the on Rockatori's whereabouts or his movements, if she's willing to share those. Because
yeah.
we gotta set up a duel.
Yeah.
I think
Guillaume
Lox
needs
has
another
got to
epic.
duel. No, Lox.
Yeah.
This one's
Oh yeah, this
Lox.
is Lox. Yeah, then Lox needs an epic dueling story now. Oh.
Okay. Then
But
I
I
have
made a
my
note to
assignment.
remember to do it next time.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. I think that's where we're going to go ahead and end the session then. So this had a lot of talking in it. We had a lot of action last time. So this was definitely kind of the putting together of all of the pieces. So yeah, this was really good. We got a little bit of revelations kind of like dropped out, and some forward facing plans kind of made. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. Fantastic stuff as always. I'm going to pass things back over to my players now so that they can give any kind of parting words that they would like to once again touch on where you may be able to find them, anything they may have going on. And then I think we're going to call it an evening. So we're going to start in reverse order with Austin.
I don't think I've ever been first before. Um, a super fun session as always. Excited to see where this goes. Um, quick question, Jeremy. What is the age of coming of age in Gerdessi culture?
I don't know.
Uh I would think I actually looked because I was curious. You listed her in the character thing as 14.
There you go.
So I guess
Okay.
15
So she
would
is
be
Then
the
I-
coming
15.
of age.
Then I will not say that we're going to go to my goth girlfriend's birthday party. I will say my goth associate's birthday party. I'm looking forward to it. Uh, um, I will be maybe a little sad if the king tries to like get in there and like make a move, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm just super psyched to keep this going and see where this ends up as we find out more and more information. And boy, I cannot wait to watch Locke's take Rockatori's other eye. Two one-eyed men facing off, like two eyes enter, one eye leaves. I think it's going to be a good time. And with that, I will pass it over to M.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Um, my favorite part in any video game or movie is the masquerade party scene, and the fact that we have had multiple of these is just fantastic. I always look forward to them. So yeah, can't wait for the next session. Thanks for having me, and I'll pass it to Matt.
Yeah, I had so much fun. Got to lore dump a little bit, which was great. That's like shit that Jeremy and I talked about years ago at this point, which is really cool. Been sitting on the name Diploma for a long time, so that was exciting. Yeah, and I'm really excited to kill that guy too. That's going to be great. Yeah, thank you as always, Jeremy, for just rolling with whatever we continue to throw at you. I don't know how much of that you had prepped or and how much of that was just whatever they want to do, I guess. So thank you as always. And yeah, excited for next time. I'll pass it on over to Kenya. Oh, and come watch me run a game here on October 11th. I'm running a Wild West game. It's gonna be pew pew, yeehaw, that sort of shit. So come watch that. All right, passing it on over to Kenya.
Uh, well, thank you, cowboy. Um, I am super excited. I like these. We needed a RP session after we had a very intense, oh shit, it's not going like we wanted it to. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Guillaume just climbed the wall session last time. Um, this is such a fantastic game. It's just so wonderful. Karen, we missed you if you're watching this. We missed you very much. But we will see you next session. And I too am going to be here on the same Saturday that Matt is going to be here, but I will be a player starting at about 5 p.m. Eastern. So definitely show up as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Jeremy's wonderful channel. 10 years is a long time, and that is your attention span is, because mine is not. So good job on that, sir. You are an outstanding DM. You have such a unique style of game that is just a constant privilege to be a part of. And I am honored that you chose me to be one of the people to celebrate it with you. So thank you very much. And before I get all mushy, I'm gonna get going and pass it back to you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Kenya. I appreciate that. Of course, y'all are some of my favorite people to game with, so there's a reason why your names were at the top of the list. So I am more than happy to have y'all along for that ride. And, you know, for the last several years, each of you has contributed a lot to what is on this channel, to making it to 10 years, and making it worthwhile to keep putting this content out. So thank you. I'm very much looking forward to that event. It's going to be 4 games over 2 days. There will be a game Friday night that I will be running, and then there will be 3 games run by 3 guest GMs full of an amazing array of players, many familiar faces that you will have seen here on the channel. So yeah, if you like what you see here, then come back for that and hang out with us. It's going to be a blast. What else? What else? Thank all of you for watching this game, for watching any of the content that's on my channel. It really means a lot to me that that there are people that find stuff that is worthwhile here. So thank you for giving us a little bit of your time and for hanging out with us for a while. If you did enjoy what you saw, then do all the stuff that the algorithm responds to. Hit the like button, share the link around, subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined, watch other stuff. Yeah, run a game in Gerdes. That'd be cool. Tell me about it. Leave a comment. Okay, yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, remember, kindness is a free action. It costs you absolutely nothing to be kind to people. And please, dear God, we need more kindness to counteract all of the dickheadery that is on full display for whatever reason. So go out there and kill them with kindness. Unless they're a Nazi, then use something else that's more effective than kindness. But yeah, I think that's everything that we have here. So we're going to go ahead and bounce before I completely choke to death. And until next time, may your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.